What's up, y'all? I want to talk about today's debate. It's Thursday, the second Democratic debate, 10 more candidates, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So first off, I like to start on a positive note usually, and I think the candidates had a lot more energy. Once they started talking, I was like, wow. It really put into perspective how boring yesterday's debate was. I mean, they were super low energy. It was like 10 jebs there, very low energy. But I mean, Tulsi did okay. The rest of them were low energy. Even her energy wasn't high. You get what I'm saying. A lot more energy, a lot more action tonight, which was awesome. I'm glad to see that. I'm going to start with the positive, which is tough because there's a lot of ugliness going on there. So Marianne Williamson, I think, had the best moment of the debate. At the beginning, all the candidates are talking about healthcare. I'm going to get into what Bernie and other people said as well, but she made the realest statement about healthcare that I've been saying for a while, and no politician, even on the right wing, they won't say it. On the left wing, they won't say it. Healthcare, Obamacare, Trump care, Bernie care. Marianne Williamson, I don't agree with her on a lot of her politics, but she said the realest thing. It's not really healthcare. It's sick care. You know, it's basically carting people in circles. Sickness will take care of you. You'll get this medicine. Who's going to pay for it? She's like, you're just deciding who's going to pay for this, but you're not getting to the root of the sickness. And she started talking about chemicals, and they cut her off, and everybody said how crazy she is. I understand she's crazy about other stuff, but that was one of the most important moments I've ever seen in a debate, especially this year, because that is the truth. Healthcare is a total lie. I talk about it a lot. You have companies that were founded in Nazi Germany, or I won't say founded, but they were active in Nazi Germany. They got caught selling HIV positive pills to South America and others, and now they own the world's largest pesticide and seed company. So there's a lot going on with health that nobody's talking about. Look in the foods that they're giving to your kids, all the cereals and stuff, the ingredients, the chemicals. There's nitrates in the water they're finding now that are cancer causing. This is mainstream news. So I'm not trying to get conspiratorial or, controversial. I get everybody has their own health stuff, but we're a very obese country. We're a very over-medicated country. We're dying of opioid pills. There's a lot of stuff going on, and saying you're going to pay for the healthcare, your tax, that's not really solving healthcare. All politicians are lying, and I respect Marianne Williamson for actually saying that. You're just deciding who's going to pay for all the sick people, but you're not getting to the root of why they're sick, and that's a very important moment in this debate. Bernie Sanders started talking about healthcare, and he said, Donald Trump is getting rid of 30 million people's healthcare, and how dare he, blah, blah, blah. I want to tell my personal story, which is the story of millions of Americans. You don't have to agree. Maybe you want that healthcare, but for me, under Obamacare and under Bernie Sanders healthcare, especially Obamacare, there was an individual mandate. So they made me get a healthcare that I didn't really want. I couldn't use. There was no benefit. It cost thousands upon thousands of dollars a year. And I really didn't want it because I didn't save a single dollar on medication, on doctor's visits. It's a waste of money. And I take care of myself because I actually prevent diseases. I prevent sicknesses by not eating what they tell me to eat, not taking the pills they tell me to take, not drinking the liquids that they sell at the stores. And then they wonder why everybody's so sick, obese, and pumping them up with pills. And I have to pay a fee because of Obama. The thing with Trump that no one talks about, even if you don't like him or you want this or that, this year, for the first time, Trump got rid of the individual mandate. So if you don't want health care, you're not forced into a plan that doesn't work or you don't need. Under Obamacare, and of course under Bernie care, he says, oh, there's 30 million Americans who need health care. Then he forces you into the health care. Oh, you don't want it? You pay a fee. Oh, you don't want it? It's coming out of your taxes. I don't want to be a financial slave to this disgusting health system that doesn't work and makes no sense and doesn't work for me. So I appreciate the freedom, especially that Trump did. So when Bernie says there's 30 million, there's also millions upon tens of millions of Americans who don't want health care, can't use health care, or forced out of their plans or forced into new plans. So that's something that he didn't really talk about. Bernie really, I thought he disappointed me this time. And I tell my progressive friends who watch this channel or in general, stick with Tulsi Gabbard. Trust me, she's authentic, she's believable, she has very compassionate eyes, she's a good speaker, she has good posture. Bernie Sanders is kind of a puppet. When I liked him last election because I thought he was an outsider, one thing I told myself, because you can't play me for very long, I said, watch Bernie and see if he starts talking about more stuff. Because I noticed on his social media, he'd say the same 4 and 5 things on repeat. And it turns out June passed, July passed. He, supported Hillary Clinton. He started going against things that made sense. He started kind of leaving his supporters out to dry. And I realized this dude's a pull string doll. You pull the doll and political revolution. political, it works in Sweden. So this debate, I think that really shown a lot, and it's becoming more and more obvious, although I picked up on it before. He's a pull string doll. You ask him a question, he can't answer. He just says the same 6 things on loop. He started screaming at one point just to get his talk. It's like, Bernie, I've heard these 10,000 times. Say something different. So I thought that was a huge takeaway from Bernie. The dude is kind of like a pull string doll, and he finally admitted, because I know a lot of people are like, anomaly, it's not going to raise your taxes. He admitted today, because they pressured him. He didn't answer, pressured him, didn't answer, pressured him. He finally admitted it's going to raise taxes on the middle class, obviously, his plan. But he says it'll save some people money because it would cost more other ways. Me, personally, it's definitely going to cost me more. It's going to cost me thousands upon thousands more, because I can't even opt out. Under Trump's care, I don't need health care, so I could save $6,000, $5,000. I don't get a fee of $600, $700. Under Bernie's, he taxed me, and his excuse would be like, oh, well, you're saving if you bought that plan. I didn't want that plan, Bernie. It's like coming into my house, buying a $6,000 cabinet that I'm never going to use and saying, no, I'm going to make you charge $5,000 for it. It's going to save. I wasn't going to buy it anyway. So that whole narrative, even if you agree with everyone being having healthcare, understand that some people don't want it. Some people are being kicked out of their old plans. Some people are being forced into ones that they don't want. Just be honest about it. That's all I ask. But my takeaway from Bernie, that debate, was, wow, the dude is not really, very authentic at all. He repeats the same 6 talking points, and he doesn't really stray from that narrative very much. And it shows. I think Tulsi did great last debate for progressives, and Bernie did not do very well as somebody who was looking out for him. Kamala Harris, I thought she had a very great debate. I'm not a fan of her. I don't agree with most of what she said, but she showed a lot of strength, a lot of energy. Last night, you could fall asleep. I mean, even Tulsi, I thought, did a good job. Her energy was it was just a low energy all around. It was a very boring debate. This one had higher energy, and Kamala really seemed to pump it home. Like I said, I don't agree with what she's saying, but had more energy. I think she's a takeaway, a winner of this debate. The loser would be the American people, anybody watching, anybody who believes that they're viable candidates, all of us. But in general, she had a strong debate. And I want to say something because I saw some of my followers or people that I follow on Twitter. Ali Alexander, who's a black conservative, said, she's not really black American. She's half Indian and half Jamaican. Now, I need to go do a DNA search. I don't know exactly what she is, but Indian has nothing to do with black American, even Jamaican. There's a lot of different Africans that happened back in the 1600s and such. Some followers or some people that I follow that I really respect say that Africans were already in America when Christopher Columbus sold his ship. They don't teach that in history. Who knows if that's true or not, but people that I highly respect and trust say that. Also, almost everybody says there were black people in America, and in other countries, there was an African slave trade. There was an Arab slave trade. From people that I respect said there's a Jewish slave trade, but now certain books are being banned on that, so they say, no, it's just this. You can't say that. You can't think that. I don't know what to believe, but all I'm saying is she kind of played the black American card really strong, and if she's Jamaican and Indian, yes, she's half black or however you'd want to call it, but their history is a lot different than American history, I think. But that's that. I'm just saying that's what some people are saying. Overall, she had a strong debate, but I don't really agree with what she was saying. Eric Swalwell, the dude is very, I'll just say it. I try to beat around the bush and be nice, but all jokes aside, I think Eric Swalwell has an extremely, extremely low IQ. The dude laughs at his own little one-liners. Nobody cheers. He's like the kid who got the Golden Star Participation Award in class, and he went home and said, look, I won. I'm the best in class. I'm the funniest. I'm the smartest. And the parents didn't tell him, look, Eric, everybody got the participation award. It's not just you, So I think that kind of culture of telling everybody they're so special and they're the best, it turns into an Eric Swalwell where he's like, I'm going to confiscate all the guns. And he's like every little stupid one-liner he had, he's giggling to himself. Eric Swalwell's biggest fan. And I think that's awesome. It's good to believe in yourself. But I also said on Twitter, and I think it's true, I would love a reality show where Eric Swalwell goes to Texas, goes to West Virginia, and goes to Florida and tries to confiscate their guns. That's his big thing. I'm going to make everybody, do gun buybacks. First of all, there's millions upon tens of millions upon hundreds of millions of unregistered guns that they'll never grab. A lot of guns in major cities are committed by illegal guns that are unregistered. So the dude's living in fantasy land where he giggles with everything he says. He thinks he's really, really smart, and he somehow thinks in the United States, the land of the First and Second Amendment, that he's going to confiscate everybody's guns. I mean, this dude is living in a fairy tale land. And I say this as somebody who I wouldn't mind. I'm not even saying I don't like her domestic policy, but there's people that I'd be like, you know what? They're liberal. They're going to raise taxes a little, but I get them. Even Obama, you could say what you want about Obama. You could say what you want about his foreign policy, even his health care. I don't think it was good at all. But he kept the ship moving a little bit. I mean, he deported illegal immigrants. He was like, I'm just doing what everyone does. It's illegal. It's in the name. I'm supposed to be the president who upholds law. He did that. Nowadays, they're all so radical. Not only have they perverted law, it's pure lawlessness. It's like communism mixed with anarchy. It makes no sense. It's like total government, but no law when it comes to other people of certain skin tones. It's literal insanity. I mean, he makes Barack Obama from 2008 look like a conservative compared to all these people. They don't think, they have no policy on illegal immigrants. They just want to give them free health care. So the craziest part about them is that they're now implementing a lot of socialist policies of health care for all, which in my opinion, and the opinion of people who are, I think, wise, but you could think otherwise anyway, socialism only works if you have a small population, everybody's working, everybody plays their role, everybody buys into it, and usually it doesn't work very long term. But that's the only way, idealistically, that it probably could work. It would never work in a country as big as the United States for very long, especially if you have tax-paying working-class citizens that you claim to care so much about, and then you're giving free health care to illegal immigrants they act like they want to vaccinate every single United States citizen. No, you can't not take a vaccine. What about letting in 30, 40 million illegal immigrants, giving them free health care, and then not even, there's a process at the border. You come in, you have a visa, they check who you are, they do a health test, I'm guessing for, what is it called, to get an American citizenship? I don't know the process, but the point being, how are you going to do socialistic policies and then have an open border policy where you're going to get 40 million undocumented illegal citizens free health care? It's like they literally want to start a civil war. And I'm not saying that. I say peace, love, and positivity. You know what I'm saying? I don't want that at all. Like, literally, I'm the opposite. I'm like, guys, let's relax. Let's all calm down. But if Eric Swalwell got elected, which he has a 0% chance of doing, he wants to confiscate all the guns from a country that is based on the Second Amendment. That wouldn't solve the hundreds of millions of illegal guns. Like, it's literally like they want to either dismantle society or start a civil war with their policies, and they're giggling to themselves. They've made Donald Trump look like the most sane, rational person. Donald Trump's a little bit wild and crazy, but compared to these people who put on a nice demeanor and say everybody's racist, it's like, guys, what happened to the Democratic Party? It's not even socialist, it's lawless. There's no law. The things that Barack Obama would have said is a no-brainer. Any right-wing or left-wing person under their right mind will implement this as president. Things that he did, they won't do now because they've pandered so hard to certain ethnicities and certain races and certain, groups that it's taboo to tell the truth. It's taboo to do the law. It's taboo to do the right thing. Common sense is taboo. Basic, justice is taboo. They're like, it's nutty. And Eric Swalwell might be the Clown of the Year award. Teachers, parents, do what you want to do, but please stop giving out participation trophies. I think that's what happens. You get to the point and nobody tells you that you're not cut out for the job. Andrew Yang, who I thought would be funny and more interesting. I thought out of the debate, let me know what you guys think too. I thought he had a bad debate. I was hyping him up as the most interesting person. I think Kamala Harris did better than I thought she would do, although I disagree with almost everything she says. Andrew Yang did way worse than I thought, and it is a little strange that he's so he cozies up to China, communist China, that's fine, but he seems a little bit like NPC. I thought he was outside the box. He's like, the biggest problem is Russia, and we need to, it's like, dude, he just came off as very, very weak. I thought it was a bad debate. That wasn't the best example, but overall, he didn't talk that much. He didn't really establish himself. not a strong play for Andrew Yang, and I was looking forward to seeing him. The rest of them, I mean, Joe Biden, you know, he did okay. I thought he was just like even. I don't think he did better or worse than I thought. Overall, Kamala Harris, her stock got boosted a little bit. Marianne Williamson, I don't agree with most of what she said at the end, but at the beginning, the fact that she talked about how healthcare isn't really healthcare, it's just sick care and who's going to pay for all the sick people, without trying to solve sick people and realizing that instead of 100 million sick people, we can get down to 10 million sick people or 5 million. Of course, people are going to be sick, but that's also the thing with giving illegal immigrants and American citizens free healthcare. I'll give up my taxpayer dollars to pay for people's health care if I know it's going to people who need it. But in a country where we're unhealthy by choice, where the poor people are not starving, but they're fat, you know, where the average person now has a disease, where diseases that didn't even exist 100 years ago are now like 1 in 4, 1 in 3, 1 in 2. Let's figure out why everyone's diseased. Let's not just pump us up and figure out who's going to enslave us into this financial scheme. Oh no, you need the health care. No, Bernie, you're not going to talk about Monsanto. You're not going to talk about Bayer, Bernie. You're not going to talk about the actual root of why everybody's sick. You're not, and I'm not blaming that company. I'm just saying there's a lot of stuff going on in the water, the food, mental health. Like our whole life cycle has been perverted on every level, from the meat industry, from the drug industry. It's all like opposite clown world where health is not the priority, profits are the priority, subversion is the priority. We have a major health problem, and it has nothing to do with figuring out whose taxes are going to pay for the health. Thank you, Marianne Williamson, for saying that. That's probably the most relevant and awesome thing I heard. Kirsten Gillibrand, I wanted to bring up because she brought up the Koch brothers, and I got this right here because the Koch brothers, she said, you know, we're not doing blah, 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 Trump and the Koch brothers and the Republican Koch brothers. We're fighting against the Koch brothers. I said, I'm glad you brought up the Koch brothers, Kirsten Gillibrand. They're working with George Soros, Patreon, Airbnb, and the ADL to destroy free speech. Let's go to this Observer article. Charles Koch teams up with George Soros, Patreon, and Airbnb to fight online extremism. Let's go to another one. Billionaire Koch brothers network won't back Trump in 2020, snubbing his bid for the second time. The Koch brothers don't like Donald Trump. The Koch brothers were never true conservatives. The Koch brothers were Republican, just front man, just like a George Bush. Like, was George Bush a true conservative who really liked libertarian? No, George Bush comes from a family that started in banking, that turned, into a CIA family, that turned into a multi-president family. It wasn't about true libertarianism. Just like the Koch brothers, they're open borders. They don't even care about basic conservative values. So she brought it up like it's like these people pander so hard they don't even read the news, and they're like a year behind with their pandering. If you talk about the Koch brothers, talk about how Trump doesn't even like them, and they don't like Trump. It's ridiculous. Last few takeaways. We'll see who else was there. I don't know. Hickenlooper passed. Nothing really stood out. Pete Buttigieg, nothing really stood out. Strong pass. I guess that's pretty much all of them. If I didn't name them, they probably didn't make an impact enough to really matter that much. So overall, Kamala had a nice little boost there. Bernie Sanders stock is way down. My advice, I'm not really an advice giver, but if you're progressive and you lean left, just save yourself the time, love yourself, and respect yourself enough to get away from Bernie Sanders. The dude's a pull string doll, and Tulsi Gabbard's way more authentic and way better. I mean, if you followed Bernie Sanders for the last 2.5 years and you really think he's going to save the progressive movement, please just stop playing yourself, because I think you deserve better. And he left you last time, and his debating skills are very, very subpar. It was pretty lame today. It was just like the same 5 talking points. Overall, yikes. This is definitely what happens when you spend the 2 years just hating on Donald Trump, hating on America, using certain events as political fodder and saying, oh my God, Charlottesville, look how good I am because of Charlottesville. And it's like, you're a mess. This was so insane. Like, literally, the Democratic Party people always say the JFK Democratic Party. The Democratic Party from 5 years ago would not even recognize this. Literally, what's his name? Barack Obama. from 2008 would look at this, if it was him in 2008, not knowing the context, not knowing like what was going on, and you asked him this type of stuff, they would literally be like, what is this? This is literally insane. I'm gonna read something from Tim Pool, because I consider Tim Pool the last sane, semi-sane, liberal progressive on the left wing. He still believes in progressive, like Bernie Sanders values, but he understands identity politics and like total delusion and pandering is not the answer. He said, so they are saying open borders. If they won't criminalize illegal immigration and they won't deport them, that's open borders. Then they all want to give them all health care. This is delusional. So even normal liberals with a big social media following that people respect on both sides, no one knows what you're doing anymore. The only people that are still like, oh my God, this is it, are people that have bought into the anti-Trump stuff so much that they're willing to get their brains scrambled into oblivion just to oppose the guy. And I'm not trying, it's the Democratic debates. I'm not trying to pick on the left, although I think it is in a dire state based on media manipulation and a lot of stuff. But same with the right wing. Like, I don't just sit and watch Fox News and Donald Trump and say, oh my God, like if he says something I disagree with, I'll disagree with it. It just so happens that he really executes and gets stuff done. I mean, even when I was like social issues, environment, and I still believe in the environment, I just look deeper into it now. I don't know, even if I was apolitical, like watching this debate, it's mind-blowingly like ridiculous. But it is what it is. I mean, I don't think they're gonna do very well, but who knows? Maybe a lot of people thought that was awesome and they're really gonna, change the climate and, save America via free healthcare and reparations. I don't know. I don't really care. We'll figure it out. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Overall, last take, a lot of energy, way more energy than the last debate. Bernie, bad debate. Yang, bad debate. Biden, meh. That Williamson lady, good moment. Kamala Harris showed some strength, was impressive, although I disagree with everything she said. We'll see. I think that's my takeaway from this debate, and we'll stay tuned to see the delusion. But I just hope that they know that all this stuff that they're saying is literally pretty crazy. I mean, Trump was just like, let me do what Obama did and Bush did and every president did as far as enforcing the laws we have and making sure the border wall works. Like, this was what Democrats and Republicans did for the last 30 years. Clinton said it, Bush said it, Obama said it, and it wasn't really. Now Trump says it, and people are screeching and screaming, and they've taken the opposite stance just to oppose him. And I don't know what they think is going to happen if they actually win the election. Like, they always say, oh my God, Trump's going to stay for 80 years. He's never going to leave the White House. Nothing's wrong. Like, you could have won the last election. You could win this next election. There's nobody staying in the White House, but it's almost like a manifestation. They're manifesting a meltdown. They're manifesting a huge blowback if they win, because instead of focusing on like making sense and being electable and being likable, they've gotten into this psychotic agenda where, yeah, if you win, you might get a lot of blowback, not just from from America. You think you could confiscate the guns and tell 300 million tax-paying citizens that they're now going to be paying for the, health care of 50 million illegal immigrants who came here illegally while they have family members from Pakistan and Mexico and Honduras waiting to come legally? Like, you think that's going to go over well? So yes, you are kind of manifesting like, oh my God, what if Trump? No, and I'm going to end on this. Trump and the conservative movement now, in my personal perspective, they're not even that conservative. They're super liberal. So you're almost not only growing the right wing, but you're almost making it impossible for there not to be a further right wing than Trump. Because this is very liberal. This is not very libertarian. This is not very conservative Christian at all as far as like, true conservative Christian values. This is very liberal. So yeah, it's going to get weird for you, not because of Donald Trump, but because of how you acted. You're almost manifesting a further right wing after Donald Trump. So if you somehow win an election or you keep losing and treating people like you're treating people, you're going to see the Republican Party shift further right. And it's already happening. People are, you know what, I was pro that, but based on how they're acting, you know what, I just reject the whole thing completely. And I want to make a balance, and that's just what I think. I think you're manifesting your own demise and then acting like, oh my God, it's all going to you've made it happen. It didn't have to happen. It still doesn't have to happen. But please, somebody on the left wing, if it's not Tim Pool, maybe it's Tulsi, like somebody say, like, does anybody know over there anymore? Is there any, and what's his name? The guy from Starbucks, he went on Morning Joe and he said, I'm not a Democrat anymore, even though I'm a left-winger. I'm independent because I don't believe in the Democratic Party. I think they're too far socialist, and I think free healthcare doesn't make sense. This is Andrew Schultz, the guy who owns Starbucks, and they're like, what do you mean you're not a Democrat? Please, buddy, I understand you don't like Trump either, but get in the race and talk some sense into these people, because it's getting really, really nutty, and we need some sanity over there. Thank you guys for listening. God bless you. God bless your family. God bless America. God bless the world. Sign up to my free email list, please, and have a good day, because who knows when they're going to try to do more censorship and stuff. You get it.